a world filled with chaos and fleeting trends, there exists an ancient philosophy that offers a powerful anchor: Stoicism. It's not about suppressing emotions or becoming a rigid, unfeeling statue. It's about cultivating inner strength, resilience, and wisdom to navigate life's inevitable storms. For centuries, the teachings of great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius have guided countless individuals toward a more tranquil and purposeful existence. They understood that true strength isn't about what you accumulate, but what you refuse to tolerate. It's about drawing clear boundaries and safeguarding your inner citadel from the relentless assault of external pressures and internal weaknesses. This journey of self-mastery begins with identifying and eliminating the very things that chip away at our peace and potential. If you're ready to embark on this path of Stoic clarity and discover the pillars of true resilience, then subscribe so we don't lose each other on this path of Stoic clarity. We'll delve into the foundational principles that empower us to live a life of integrity, purpose, and unshakable inner calm, transforming our reactions and reshaping our destiny. One of the first things strong people, guided by Stoic wisdom, absolutely refuse to tolerate is victim mentality. This insidious mindset traps individuals in a perpetual cycle of blame, convincing them that external circumstances or other people are solely responsible for their unhappiness or misfortunes. A Stoic understands that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we always have control over our response. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't about denying pain or hardship, but rather about refusing to surrender your agency. Instead of dwelling on how unfair life is or how others have wronged you, a strong person asks, "What can I learn from this? How can I adapt? What is within my power to change?" They recognize that embracing a victim mentality is a profound act of self-disempowerment, handing over their precious inner peace to forces beyond their control. By rejecting this narrative, they reclaim their power, focusing their energy on growth, problem-solving, and building resilience rather than wallowing in self-pity or resentment. It's a conscious choice to be the architect of your inner world, regardless of the external blueprints. Next, strong people, deeply rooted in Stoic principles, will not tolerate emotional reactivity and impulsivity. Imagine a boat tossed wildly by every wave. That's a life lived at the mercy of unfiltered emotions. Stoicism teaches us to create a necessary pause between an event and our reaction. Epictetus advised, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This isn't about becoming emotionless, but about cultivating emotional intelligence and self-control. When an upsetting situation arises, the impulsive response might be anger, frustration, or fear. However, a strong person takes a breath, steps back, and observes their emotions without immediately being consumed by them. They ask themselves, is this reaction truly helpful? Is it aligned with my values? What would a wise person do? This deliberate delay allows reason to intercede, preventing rash decisions or hurtful outbursts that are often regretted later. It's about being the master of your internal state rather than a slave to fleeting feelings. By refusing to let every trigger dictate their behavior, they maintain their composure, make clearer judgments, and preserve their inner tranquility, proving that true power lies in thoughtful restraint. Another critical element strong individuals, inspired by Stoic philosophy, steadfastly reject is seeking external validation as a primary source of worth. In our modern comparison-driven world, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring our value based on likes, approval, or the opinions of others. However, a Stoic understands that true worth is an internal metric. Seneca wisely remarked, "The greatest blessing of mankind are within us and within our reach. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not." Strong people don't chase fleeting praise or fear criticism. Their self-esteem is built on a solid foundation of self-respect, integrity, and living in accordance with their own virtues. They recognize that external validation is a precarious and unreliable source of happiness, constantly subject to the whims and fickle judgments of others. Instead, they focus on their character, their actions, and their own moral compass. By detaching their self-worth from external approval, They free themselves from the anxiety of constantly performing for others and gain an unshakable confidence that comes from knowing who they are, independent of what anyone else thinks. Furthermore, strong people guided by Stoicism absolutely do not tolerate complaining and dwelling on what cannot be changed. While it's natural to feel frustrated by difficult circumstances, constantly complaining without taking action is a drain on energy and a breeding ground for negativity. Marcus Aurelius taught, "Do not disturb yourself by picturing your life as a whole. Do not let all the sufferings which you have undergone and all which you will have to undergo all at once crowd upon your imagination." This powerful insight encourages us to focus on the present moment and distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. A strong person understands that lamenting over unchangeable past events or worrying excessively about an unpredictable future is a futile exercise. Instead, they channel their energy into acceptance and proactive problem solving. If a situation can be improved, they act. If it cannot, they accept it with grace and adapt their internal state. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but rather approaching them with a pragmatic and resilient mindset, conserving their mental and emotional resources for meaningful action rather than wasting them on unproductive grievances. One pervasive habit that strong individuals, embracing Stoic principles, steadfastly refuse to tolerate is living in the past or future, neglecting the present moment. Our minds often wander, replaying past regrets or anxiously anticipating future worries, causing us to miss the richness of now. Seneca eloquently advised, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient, for he that is content has all he wants." Strong people understand that the only moment we truly possess and can influence is the present. Dwelling on what has already happened or constantly deferring joy until some future ideal robs us of our capacity to live fully and effectively. They practice mindfulness, focusing their attention on the task at hand, the conversation they are having, or the experience they are undergoing. This deliberate presence allows them to make better decisions, appreciate the small wonders of daily life, and act with intention rather than being pulled in countless directions by an untethered mind. By anchoring themselves firmly in the present, they cultivate a sense of calm, focus, and effectiveness that is the hallmark of true inner strength. Strong people, deeply influenced by Stoic wisdom, also refuse to tolerate allowing others to dictate their values or principles. In a world that constantly pushes us to conform, it takes immense strength to stand firm in one's own convictions. Epictetus challenged his students, saying, "If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, 'He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone.'" This highlights the importance of internalizing your values rather than seeking external validation or allowing others to define who you are. A strong person has a clear moral compass, a well-defined set of principles that guide their decisions and actions. They are not easily swayed by popular opinion, social pressure, or the manipulative tactics of others. They prioritize integrity and authenticity, choosing to live in alignment with their inner beliefs, even if it means standing apart from the crowd. This unwavering commitment to their personal code is a testament to their self-respect and their refusal to compromise their character for the sake of acceptance or ease. A significant hurdle that strong individuals, informed by Stoicism, will never tolerate is resistance to change and the fear of the unknown. Life is a constant flux, and clinging rigidly to the familiar often leads to stagnation and suffering. Heraclitus, whose ideas influenced the Stoics, observed, "The only constant in life is change." While change can be uncomfortable, a strong person understands that resisting it is like trying to hold back a tide, a futile and exhausting endeavor. Instead, they cultivate adaptability and an open mind. They view challenges as opportunities for growth and see the unknown not as a threat, but as a fertile ground for new experiences and learning. This isn't about being reckless, but about approaching transitions with courage and a willingness to adjust their sails. They practice amor fati, a love of fate, embracing whatever comes their way, good or bad, knowing that every experience holds a lesson. By releasing the need for absolute control and welcoming the natural unfolding of life, they move through transitions with grace, resilience, and an unwavering belief in their capacity to thrive, no matter the circumstances. Finally, a truly strong person, steeped in Stoic teachings, never tolerates neglecting self-reflection and continuous personal growth. The journey of self-mastery is not a destination, but an ongoing process, requiring regular introspection and a commitment to lifelong learning. Marcus Aurelius himself kept a journal, his meditations, as a tool for self-examination and intellectual refinement. He understood that true strength comes from within, cultivated through deliberate practice. Strong people make time for quiet contemplation, evaluating their actions, identifying their biases, and confronting their weaknesses with honesty. They don't shy away from uncomfortable truths about themselves, but instead embrace them as catalysts for improvement. This commitment to self-awareness allows them to refine their virtues, correct their errors, and continually align their lives more closely with their values. They understand that complacency is the enemy of progress, and that true inner power is forged in the crucible of consistent self-improvement. By prioritizing this vital practice, they ensure their strength is not static, but ever-evolving, allowing them to face life's challenges with ever-increasing wisdom and resilience.